Welcome back, everybody, to Tales of the Beard. Hopefully, you enjoyed last week's episode, but even more importantly, hopefully, you'll enjoy this one as well. Let's dig into one that I'm calling The Last Message. It was a quiet evening in New York City, the kind where the city's usual hustle seemed to pause for just a moment. The streets, they were dotted with glowing neon lights, cars weaving through the maze of traffic, and the distant hum of the subway echoing underfoot. But inside a small, cramped apartment in the heart of Brooklyn, the world felt a little different for Nate. At 32, Nate had given up on romance, preferring to immerse himself in the quiet, little simple life that he loved online. He was a freelance coder working from home, building apps for companies that paid well enough to keep the lights on. He liked it that way. No interruptions, no expectations. The only relationships in his life were the ones that flickered across the phone screen. Short exchanges of text, memes, and the occasional deep late-night conversation with his best friend Maya. But tonight, something felt, off. He sat on his couch, staring blankly at his phone, scrolling through notifications that, they didn't matter. And the world had become so fast, way too fast. People expecting instant responses, immediate gratification. That's when it happened. A message from a number he didn't recognize pinged on his screen. It wasn't an advertisement or a random marketing text. It was a simple line that read, "I need to tell you something. Please, don't ignore this." Nate frowned. Fingers hovered over the screen. He almost deleted it, but something stopped him. Curiosity. He opens the message. "Nate, it's me. You won't believe this, but I'm stuck somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm scared. I feel like they're watching me." So obviously his heart thuds. His mind, it's racing. The text came from the same number, but this wasn't Maya's voice. It wasn't her number. It wasn't anybody he knew. So he replies, "Who is this?" while his fingers were trembling. But the reply comes back instantly. "I don't have much time. You need to help me, Nate. I made a mistake, and now they won't let me go. Please." So now panic is rising in his chest. Who could this be? What is happening? Nate stood up, started to pace around the room. Could this be a prank? A scam? He wasn't sure, but something about the urgency in the message felt too real. His mind raced through every single possibility, and then he saw it. Something strange about the number. It was an old area code, one tied to his hometown. Nate's breath caught in his throat. He hadn't been there in quite some time. Not since, the accident. Not since his brother Luke disappeared without a trace. "Luke?" Nate typed. The word feeling foreign on his fingers. "Is this you?" Seconds felt like hours. Finally, the message came through. "Yes, it's me. I need you to trust me." Nate's heart stopped. His thoughts flashed back to that day, the day that everything changed, the day his brother had vanished. People said he ran away, maybe just trying to escape. But Nate never believed it. He had always felt something more sinister was at play, something deeper than a simple disappearance. Without another thought, Nate grabbed his jacket, shoved his phone in his pocket, and bolted out the door. His mind was in a frenzy. Was this really Luke? Was he alive? Or is this just some twisted game? The subway ride, it felt endless. Nate's fingers clutched to the handlebar, his thoughts bouncing between fear, anger, and a little bit of hope. He hadn't been back to that part of town in years, and the memories, they were painful. But this message, if it was actually Luke, it could change everything. He arrived at the old building, the one from his childhood, now abandoned and decaying. It had once been a place full of life, neighborhood kids, laughter, summer spent running through the halls. Now it was just a shell of its former self. Something didn't feel right. The air, it was thick. The streets, too quiet. And then his phone buzzed again. "You're close. They're coming. Hurry." A chill ran through him. Who was they? And he pushed open the door, the hinges creaking, his heart hammering in his chest. The building was dark, empty, except for the faint hum of fluorescent lights flickering overhead. He moved quickly through the halls, his breath quickening. Where is he? Where's Luke? This sure feels like a trap. Is it a trap? Then he heard it. a faint whisper, a voice he recognized, but it was distorted, echoing down the hallway. "Nate! Help me!" He turned the corner and froze. There, standing in the shadows, was a figure, tall, hunched, their face hidden beneath the hood of a tattered jacket. But that voice, the voice, it was unmistakable. "Luke!" Nate called out, his voice shaking. The figure nodded, stepping forward slowly. The moment their face came into the light, Nate's stomach churned. It was Luke, but not the brother he remembered. His face was gaunt, his eyes were hollow, as if years of something had been drained from him. "I'm sorry, Nate," Luke whispered. "I was trying to protect you, but I messed up. They've been after me, and now they're coming for you, too." Suddenly, the sound of heavy boots echoed through the hall. Nate spun around, his blood running cold. Figures, dark shapes moving toward him, men in black, their eyes hidden behind reflective sunglasses. The agency, the ones who had erased his brother's existence from the world. Without warning, Nate grabbed Luke's arm, pulling him toward the exit. They ran. They dodged through the maze of the halls, adrenaline coursing through Nate's veins, but the men, they were getting closer. As they neared the exit, one of the agents lunged forward, grabbing Luke. Nate tried to pull him free, but the agent was too strong. "Leave him alone," Nate screamed, but his voice was drowned out by the chaos of the chase. The agent, cold and detached, raised a hand to his earpiece. "Nate Bishop," the agent said, his voice icy, "you're not supposed to be involved, but this ends now." Nate's world turned to black as everything around him went silent. The last thing he saw was Luke's desperate eyes, the final message flashing in his mind. "Trust me, and don't forget me." That is another sad but wild Tales of the Beard, called The Last Message. If you want a part 2 to see what happens with Nate, with Luke, will they reunite? Who are the men in black? We're all left with questions. But again, if you want a part 2, let us know in the comments. And again, thank you for tuning in to Tales of the Beard. We'll be back next week for another episode. Thank you, everybody, and take care.
In a land where shadows whisper, a journey begins anew. Mysteries untold unravel as the light fades from view. Tales of old and stories bold, secrets waiting to be heard. Adventures start with every turn. Welcome to Tales of the Beard. Tales of old and stories bold, secrets waiting to be heard. Adventures start with every turn. Welcome to Tales of the Beard.